Hi, Melissa. Good evening.
I don't know if I can be heard.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Wait. Good evening.
How, good evening. How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah,
um,
yeah. I have a friend in India, in Savitri Bhavan. Whenever I ask him, "How are you?" he says, "I'm good. What to do?" I'm good. What to do? It's like he has no other choice, only to be. How is this infection is over with your tooth operation? And
I have inflammation everywhere, so
oh my God.
it's not very easy. But let's see.
Something is not letting you go. Yes.
Yes, exactly. I hope you are fine.
I am okay actually. It's quite nice, very warm winter here, no snow, and I'm alone in a huge house for many already nearly 2 years living here. It's quite nice, silent and peaceful, and I can do my things. Yeah. It's like a paradise a bit. Great. So you are back to Paris, or you're still in Belgium?
I was in Brussels yesterday, and I came back yesterday evening, and then I'm going again on Friday.
Oh,
I keep
okay.
moving.
You're moving back and forth,
I'm
but
doing to do a course that I had done many years ago on um, the reading of the pulse in
reading of the
or the how do you call it nadi
okay,
pariksha.
okay, Nadi Pariksha. So you're
Yeah,
you're doing kind of what is this? Is it part of Ayurveda or it's part
yeah,
of?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I had done it like 15 years ago, and I never really used it, and now I found someone who seems good, so I want to use it now more for my psychotherapy for my patients to make sure and to do it better and use it and practice. And
Sure.
I forgot how to do it properly to gain
Do
confidence.
do you do your you do some courses? Yes, you do courses on some maybe on art, on column, on I do not know yantras. What are you? What courses are you doing? By the way, I just wanted to know psychology,
What
psychotherapy,
do you mean? Course I'm giving or courses that I am
giving,
taking?
giving.
Giving,
Mm,
giving. I well, in yoga teacher trainings, I teach an introduction to Indian history, philosophy, but
okay.
basic, a little bit on the history of yoga and philosophy of yoga, so Yoga Sutras and Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, you do this
Um,
in English or French?
no, in French.
In French.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could do, I have taught in English earlier, but
Mm,
yeah, and then I'm also I've started with my singer friend a training on yoga of Nada yoga.
okay.
So there I do a lot of I teach all the historical and philosophical also aspects of Nada yoga, whatever I know.
Not a
I've
problem.
studied so I mean for many years ago, and then it was always in my interest. And then we do a lot of practice and also like practice singing practice, of course, and energetic practice
Mm,
related to the sound, the voice, and yeah.
mm, mm. So you know Aurelio most probably Nadaka from
Of
Auroville, yeah?
course,
Yeah.
yes, of course.
Aurelio does interesting work, and Nadaka, of course, together with with his girlfriend or
Yeah.
wife
Yeah.
now. They are both, I know them both very well, very close. I was writing for them with Sanadaka mantras we
Since
were making,
long time
creating.
back.
Yeah.
Mm.
So are you still in connection with them or no? No, not anymore.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
So to tell you the truth, before being with Vikram, I was with someone who was a sound engineer
Okay.
and who used to do the sound a lot for them, and a musician also. So I was always also with them on the stage and when they were, like
All
that.
right. All right.
But then when we separated, I didn't really keep in touch with
Okay.
them, and that was many years back.
Okay. You know Didier also from Orville, who was sound engineer who was
Yeah,
professional
yeah,
French. Mm,
yeah.
mm. He had his sound studio in Paris and so on. Then he left. I
Mm-hmm.
worked with him on different films. He was helping out how to make soundtrack for the films, documentaries.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the world is small after all. Mm,
And
great.
my friend with whom I do, he is really like a heir to the Dagar family. Like it's a very one of the most ancient family of Drupad singers
Okay.
from North India. They are
Oh,
Muslim.
that which you sent the video with, yes?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
he's
Hey,
he's really really good,
he
really.
is good. He is good,
Mm.
definitely. One can see that immediately. Yes.
Mhm.
It's a profession. It's a particular type of living, which, yeah, which you just dedicate your life to. Yeah. It's not just some kind of, on the side, some doing. It's
It's a real yoga, I would say.
mhm.
So,
Great. If he's still around, you can do many things with him. I mean, courses and another yoga. Or,
yeah.
uh, yeah, great.
Mhm.
Do you know Shruti, by the way, Shruti Poddar? She was doing also another yoga from Delhi.
Not sure.
Yeah, she's a singer also.
Mhm.
All right, great, nice. So much to do. So I thought you are teaching a lot, and that's why you are busy.
Yeah, I am teaching a lot, but I am also learning a lot. I keep learning in order to teach, better.
Definitely, definitely. We always learn. We non-stop. It
Yeah.
must be
Mm.
so. Otherwise, what would you teach? Teach the same what you know? It doesn't work. You need to give only what you discovered recently, something. Otherwise, it becomes very monotonous and boring. And
And also learning from different fields. I start gathering everything together and everything makes sense. So the more
mm,
I learn and the more it becomes clear. So I'm very grateful that I can have great teaching like yours and like.
well, this is the text which is always looking into is always something to learn. Yes, definitely. Every time I do this, I will find some other kind of approach or perspective, or because we are never in the same space. So that's why Svadhyaya works, because when you repeat the same text to yourself every day, you get something new, some new insight. Mm. All right, let's start with mantra. Om Mukam Karoti Achalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Maham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. Do you know Narad, by the way? Narad, with his Om choir, he was doing Om choir in Savitri Bhavan for quite some time,
Mm.
in the last 10 years or something.
No.
No? We are trying to do it online now. There are maybe 20 people joining to do home choir.
Mm.
The problem is with the sound that you cannot sound together 20
Yes.
people, yeah, because this software does not permit. It will cut others all the time, some
Mm.
disturbance. Video is much easier to keep than audio, it seems. But Zoom introduced new software upgrades, yes, which is good for music and for choir. So we are hoping that it will improve.
Mhm. Yeah, we are facing the same problem in the yoga sound uh, yoga classes.
Right, right.
Mm.
But if you click here, I'm just showing you the audio setting. You will see that Zoom upgraded. So what I do, I remove this automatic adjust microphone.
Yeah, yeah, I do that also. I know everything
Yeah.
how to
And here
make it
there's
sound.
music and professional audio. Look at this.
Mm.
And if you
Yeah,
click on this,
yeah,
eh,
that's what I'm using also. Yeah.
okay, okay, yeah,
Mm.
yes, okay,
Mm.
great. I started to use this because
Mm.
it makes a little difference. It becomes better.
Mm. And when I give my classes, because I do a lot of music in my yoga classes, I teach 3 class a week, and in some of them I do a lot of hypno meditation, like it's hypnosis in and meditation mixed, and a lot of sound journeys, you can say, with singing and everything. And then I use a very good mic and I use the proper settings, and it seems it's good for the students.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, great. Okay, here we are. We stopped at 320. Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim asthita janakadayaha lokasamgrahamevapi sampashyan kartumarhasi. Karmana eva he. And indeed by karma, by the action, samsiddhim succeeded asthitah janakadayah. Janaka and others have succeeded in by the karma, by the action. Lokasamgraham evapi sampashyan kartumarhasi. You must do the work following or foreseeing the lokasamgraha, the support of the whole world, holding together of the peoples. So how to support everyone, with that view one should do the work. Not for some against the others, but how to do it in such a way that mm, it will give support to the development of the world. And this is how he sees Janaka. Janaka king, as you know, it was an
The
ancient
king
king. He was,
of
huh?
Mithila, no? King of
Yes,
Mithila.
Mithila, absolutely, yes. He was the father, so-called father of Sita.
Yeah. Mm.
He wasn't a father. He found her on the row on the field. Yeah, Sita means that cutting row by the plow when you're cutting. So when he was cutting the
Mhm.
first plow in the field, because king has to start the season of
Yes.
farming.
Mm.
So after that,
Mm.
he went through, he looked behind and he saw Sita sitting there, the child. So she came from
Mm.
earth. So he adopted her and made her his daughter. And that's why her name is Sita. Sita means that plows row, or that plows cut. Yeah? It's quite
Okay.
interesting. So Janaka was that king who was liberated, and he's considered to be one of the greatest bhaktas of Vishnu. But he behaved always as if he was just normal king, always thinking about how to support the society dharmically. So that's why he says in the same way here. Yadyap yadyadacharati shreshtah tad eva itarojanaha. Sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanuvardate. Yat, whatever, acharati shreshtah, the best is doing, tat, that indeed, eva, itarejanaha, other people. Yat pramanam kurute, sayat pramanam kurute. Whatever he makes as the example, lokastad anuvartate. The world is following that example. So there must be some example or standard, yeah, created by the best. That's why the best in the society is so important. The king who gives an example. Mm. Um, that's why Rama had to banish Sita. They try to justify his behavior, that he banished Sita not for the sake he was so heartbroken by doing it, but for the sake of the people, that the doubt had to be removed, and people should trust him as the king because his behavior was impeccable. And in a way, if they would start doubting that impeccable behavior, it's very difficult to understand actually. Then the whole dharma can be disturbed and the whole nation can be in peril. That's what happens today when Trump is saying lies all the time about that they stole the election, that they are fraud, and this and that. For easily speaking to people, he destroys the standard, and then you don't know whom to trust anymore. You know, the person who will be telling you the truth, you would not hear the truth anymore. Yeah. So this, it is the time of the big lies. Look at Russia, Putin, and all this, or Belarus, all these people lying through their teeth, everything, every word. Yeah? So, and it is given as the truth. It's very, very difficult time. Some people even are saying about Macron the same way, and others, you know. That he says one thing, he speaks only things which are sounding good but doing differently. So people learned to lie by truth. They say the truth, but they do something else. So this example to which is to be followed by others is very essential for the prosperity of society. Name partha asti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kimchana nanavaptam avaptavyam vartayevacha karmani. For me, O Partha, there is nothing which is to be done in these three worlds. Nakimchana, nothing. Kartavyam, to be done. Trishu lokeshu, in three worlds. Nanavaptam avaptavyam. There is nothing to be gained or nothing which was gained. Vartaevacha karmani, and still I am constantly in the action. I stay in the action, says Krishna. I have nothing to obtain, nothing to achieve, and still I am active all the time. Yadihyaham navarteyam, if I would not stay in the action, if I would not act, jato, constantly karmanyatandritah, in the action without what do you call it? Atandritah. The word is sleeplessly, he says, without any restlessly,
Yes. In French,
without
I
stopping.
have another book here. They say untirable.
Untired, yes, I was looking
Yes,
for
something
this
like
word, yes.
that.
Without tiredness, without any rest, without without stopping to rest. Yeah. Mama vartmanu vartanti manushyah partha sarvashah. Then all the people would follow my path. They will become lazy. Everything will fall apart. The whole world will stop. And that is also, I think, in philosophical terms, everything in the world moves non-stop because otherwise it will not be able to embody the spirit here in time and space. Yeah? It's only through this constant change of form that the spirit can endure. Utsideyur ime lokah nakuryam karma chedaham samkarasya chakartasyam upahanyam imaf prajaha. These worlds, imelokach, utsideu, would disappear. Nakuryam karma chet aham, if I would not do the work. Samkarasya chakartasyam, I would become the cause or the actor of the destruction. Upahanyam imav prajach, and destroy these subjects, these beings. Saktach karmanya vidvansach yatha kurvanti bharata kuryad vidvans tatha saktach chikirshuch lokasangraham. Saktach karmani avidvansach, as those who are attached to the action and without knowledge, avidvansaha, yatha, as kurvanti bharata, as they act, kuryad, one should work, vidvans, vidvan, the knowing, tatha saktach, and being detached, chikirshuch, desiring to do good, lokasangraham, for the wholeness of the world, to maintain the uh, here it is translated for his motive to hold together the peoples. But lokasangraha means for the oneness of the world, for the sake of the oneness of the world. Yeah? Chikirshuk, desiring to do this, the oneness of the world, support.
In the book that I have, there is a quote from Saint Thomas.
Okay.
Saint Thomas. You see the who says it's in French, so I could try to translate it, but it's really almost the same, the same words,
Yeah,
the same concept, and the same
I would
from
agree
the.
because it is very ancient concept for many religions, and
Mm,
there would be nothing really, even now, if you speak for socialists, for Democrats, for anyone else, you have to take care of the world, of people. Yeah. If you're doing for them, then it is fine. And you have to act knowledgeable and detached, desiring to do good for the people. That's it. Basically, that's the formula. And it is not so easy in one particular regard to be knowledgeable and detached. Maybe you want to do good for people, but when you are not knowledgeable and very much attached to your way of doing, then you become something else. You become a politician. You have to be detached. And then Nabuddhi Bhedam Janayet. Why he says this, it's important because the next shloka explains it. He should not generate or create the split in the mind, buddhi bhedam, division in the understanding. Yeah? Ajnanam, of those who have no knowledge, karma sanginam, of those who are attached to their action. He should not create the division. Joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yuktah samacharan. He should, how to say, encourage. He should encourage them to do the works. Joshayet sarva karmani. Incite them or encourage. Or vidvan, knowing. Yuktah, being
mm,
composed. Samacharan, constantly being in the activities. So here the translation, he should set them to all actions, doing them himself with knowledge and in yoga. Usually this is the big problem, and we know it, I know it very well also, because the ideal of the spirituality is very high. And when we try to explain this to anybody who is interested in it in some degree, or we are looking for interested people, we explain it in such a way that they say, oh, so what? Why should I really try to do anything, to desire to do good, if everything is already predestined, predetermined, and yeah, and if the divine is in charge of everything, so they lose their ability to act. Yeah? They
Mm-hmm.
are becoming very deterministic in fate and and destiny and so on. That's what happened to India. India lost this grip over matter by accepting that Maya is everything. It's all lila, illusion, all kind of words. So they became kind of very lazy, as it were,
Mm-hmm.
and fell under the foreign rule. That's why they were conquered first by Muslims and then by English, because they lost that power to live, which is very important. So one should do the works, being yogin, being knowledgeable, as if one is not knowledgeable. In the same way, that's what he says. As those who are attached to the action and not knowing anything, doing their works, in the same manner, one should do the works, being knowledgeable and being detached only. So the knowledge and detachment is an inequality which is not really so much visible outside. Outside there is an activity going on, and you can't see it really. You cannot see the difference between the knowledgeable one who is acting and not knowledgeable, between the detached and attached one. You can't see the difference. Outwardly, they do the same thing. They go to work, they have families, yeah. There is the whole story with Janaka king, why he's mentioning Janaka just before,
Mm-hmm.
because, when Narada was asking Vishnu, is there someone who is so, in love with you as I am, so much dedicated to you, such a great bhakta as I am? And he said, yes, there is one greater one, and that is Janaka king. So Narada was so thrilled, wanted to know how come that there is some human being, some king there, who is a greater bhakta than Narada himself of Vishnu. So he went down and he followed Janaka everywhere. He just didn't see it. He said he behaves as a normal being, as a normal king. He reacts, he is this and that, he is deciding things as a human being. And once they were in the forest, maybe you know the story, I repeat myself. But once
No,
they,
repeat.
no, they were in the forest, and there was a messenger running from the capital, saying to the king that, King, your palace was burnt to ashes with all the riches
Mm.
and everything. And for a kind of split of a second, Janaka could not hide his disinterestedness. He was totally disinterested in it. And then he became very concerned and started, but that split of a second Narad caught, and he understood why Janaka is such a great being. Yeah. Because he was playing a role he was engaged in doing things, but himself had nothing to accomplish here. So that's why the whole passage here about Janaka, about following, doing the same way as people attached to the action and not knowledgeable, the same way we should do the work, but remain inwardly free and knowledgeable. Prakriteh kriyamanani gunaih karmani sarvashah ahamkara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. And now he gives this distinction between the two. Because all the actions, karmani sarvashah, adan kriyamanani, prakriteh gunaihi, by the gunas of prakriti. Ahankara vimudhatma, but the one who is bewildered by ahankara, kartaham iti manyate, thinks that he is, I am the doer. Yeah? Thus he thinks, literally. He thinks that he is the doer. He doesn't really see that Prakriti does everything with her gunas. It is she who is burning the palace. It is she who is building the palace, makes you the king, drops you down, and so on. It's Tattvavitu mahabaho gunakarma vibhagayoho gunaguneshu vartante iti matvana sajjate. Tattvavit tu, but the one who knows the tattva, the essentials, mahabaho, or um, mighty armed, guna karma vibhaga yoho, the difference between gunas and karma, between the qualities and action. Guneshu vartanti iti matvana sajjate. Thinking, having thought that gunas are rotating in gunas, he is not being attached. So, how to be detached is to think or to see that whenever there is action taking place, it is gunas rotating in gunas. Yeah. And then you get the poise of consciousness, which views everything from the distance, as it were, as if you are stepping back and viewing it from above. Whatever it is, whatever it may be, whatever gunas, in whatever gunas rotate, it can be very dangerous, it can be very pleasant, doesn't matter. But truly speaking, that is being created by Prakriti. And you are a viewer, free from being involved. Prakriteh guna samudhah sajjante guna karmaso. Tana kritsnavido mandan kritsnavidna vichalayet. And finally, this is the final statement of this passage from Janaka to this. It's like 10 shlokas. But those who are bewildered by the gunas of Prakriti, they don't see it. Sajjante guna karmasu. They are becoming attached. Yeah? Sajjante. Uh, to the actions of gunas. They are totally taken by them. Tan akritsna vidach, those not knowing the whole thing, do not those who do not see the whole thing. Akritsna vid. Kritsna is all, akritsna not all. Vidach, or those who do not know or do not perceive the whole thing. Mandan, weak ones. Kritsnavid, the one who knows all, Navichalayat, should not bewilder, should not disturb. You should not tell them that they don't know everything, because they will not, first of all, believe you, and if they will believe you, they will stop doing things and they will fall into oblivion. It would be worse for them. It's much better than they do with ignorance than they stop doing with ignorance. So one should not lead them into this astray from their path of action. This is something very important passage, 10 shlokas, about how to act without bewildering others, without calling others to see what you see, because they are not ready to see it. They believe in action, they find meaning in action, they are attaching themselves to guna, and it is great. They should do it the way and evolve slowly out of that vision. You cannot make it by force, and you cannot, how to say, force them to see it, or not this knowledge. This knowledge cannot be given, so to say. You can give any other knowledge, but not this. I had once a friend who already died, and he had another friend who was coming to him in Russia, and he was reading with him Sri Aurobindo. He was giving him all the books on spirituality and so on and so forth, talking to him all the time. And that guy was always listening. And one day he came to him totally drunk with the axe, and he wanted to kill him. He was crying. He was telling, "You destroyed all my life. You messed up everything in my life." That was the response to the to the one who wanted to tell him that there is more than just life, that there
Yeah.
is spirit behind. So it's a very tricky business. One should not go into it if one doesn't have the realization total. Because if you are totally realized, then there is no problem. You will see it immediately, whether it is worth giving this knowledge or not. Before accepting people in the ashram, mother was taking the photo, was looking at the photo, meditating, connecting with the soul, and then telling the person whether to come or not. And if the person comes, this will happen. And if person doesn't come, that will happen. So it was quite interesting. And several people were coming anyhow, even if she was warning them, if you come, you will be very sick, and so on. But if you don't come, you will be very healthy and very successful in life, will have very beautiful life. And still the person came and was very sick all his life there in the ashram. So this is a really interesting thing. So there are as if two paths, and they cannot be easily mixed.
Hmm.
If you look at your life, you will see how this knowledge messed up your life totally. Yeah? You can see it. That changed totally the direction. You cannot become ordinary anymore, even if you want to.
I think, yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah,
think,
try.
no, no, what I mean to say, for me, I think I was never ordinary in a way.
Okay.
And I mean, it's not like that, but somehow, as a child, I was always on the verge of madness, something like that.
Mm.
And connecting to those teachings made me mm, made it possible for me to live,
Right.
really,
Right. Great.
because I think
Lovely.
I would have died really otherwise.
Yeah, there was no meaning in whatever is was going on, right? Yeah, right.
I was just caught in, yeah, in madness since childhood. Yeah.
Uh, Interesting. For me, it wasn't that so much. For me, I was quite a happy child. I had a happy childhood, of course, and so on. I loved the world, my father, mother. We had very happy family. My sister and my mother and father, we had a very close and lovely family, always in love, always together, and so on and so forth. But then I went to the army, and then I was sent to Afghanistan. We were first troops in 1980 in Afghanistan. And there was something like a crisis. I went through this crisis of life. And then I came home and I saw everything is so meaningless. Everything. People, friendship, whatever they say, it is all lies. There was no meaning in anything. There was no meaning in living. And I started to drink heavily. But then I met someone who told me that there is a meaning in life. That there is something like the person
Hmm.
said the God is. And I knew immediately that it was totally true because it can't be that that was the life. And my mind stopped thinking maybe for a week or two, and I saw colors and I felt again alive. It was a very interesting crisis I went through. And then I started to dig into literature, poetry, music, everything was mystics. It became a totally new life for me. My parents thought that I got mad after that. They thought even to consult some mental hospital that I became so attached or so interested in mysticism and so on. They didn't see me being mad before. It's quite
Yeah.
interesting.
For me, it was really the first maybe um, approach to God or to the divine was through the arts, but it was still so much into distress and just trying to express, things out that were and but the first contact was through art, and I had a childhood as a musician, um, and then yeah, I did a special school for music,
Okay.
and then yeah, I think when I was 17, I started reading all the texts like the Bible, the Quran, and started trying to find ways to access something higher and something less
Mm.
intense. I don't know. And that was the start. Yeah. Mm.
Mm. What was your first like a discovery? For me, it was Krishnamurti. Krishnamurti was my first book,
Mm.
the Conversations of Life or something it's called. And so,
Mhm.
and it was really marvelous because how he dealt with people and their problems. It was so beautiful.
Krishnamurti is really. I think it can speak to everyone. It is so.
Mm.
I don't know. So.
So
Mm,
simple and at the same time
yeah.
so deep. Deep
Yes.
his meditations every time, how he dealt with, that there is only that which is. Yeah. So why do you really bother about that and that? He really kind of stopped my mind, from looking for some kind of suitable answers.
Mm.
And then answers come once the mind is calm and peaceful and silent. But not in the form of answers and not in the form of the words. The
Mm-hmm.
answers come in the form of state of being, consciousness.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Great. So we can read these 9,
Sure.
10 shlokas. 10, I think, from number 20 to 29. Om karmanaiva hi samsiddhim.
Oh, I
Karmanaiva.
read.
Oh, yeah, okay,
I
okay.
read after you.
Oh, yeah, well, as we
Okay.
usually
Okay.
do.
Sorry. Yes. Yes. Okay. Fine. So I go.
Karmanaiva hi
Oh.
sam. Oh, go ahead.
Om karmanaiva hi samsiddhim. Oh, I took higher. I'm sorry. You can. I'll go down.
Om karmanaiva hi
No, it's okay.
samsiddhim.
Om
You,
karmanaiva
you can
hi
go down.
samsiddhim. I will go down. Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim.
Too low. Om karmanaiva hi samsiddhim.
Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim.
Asthita janakadayah.
Astita janakadayaha.
Lokasamgrahamevapi.
Lokasamgrahamevapi.
Sampashyan kartumarhasi.
Sampasham kartumarasi.
Yadyad acharati shreshtha.
Yad yad acharati shrestha.
Tattad evetaro janaha.
Tad tad eve taro janaha.
Sayat pramanam kurute.
Sayat pramanam kurute.
Lokastad anuvartate.
Lokastad anuvartate.
Name parthasti kartavyam.
Name parthasisti kartavyam.
Trishu lokeshu kimchana.
त्रिषु लोकेषु किञ्चन
नानवाप्तम् अवाप्तव्यम्
नानवाप्तम् अवाप्तव्यम्
वर्त एव च कर्मणि
वर्त एव च कर्मणि
यदि ह्ययं न वर्तेयम्
यदि
sorry
ह्ययम्
यदि ह्यहं न वर्तेयम्
यदि ह्यहं न वर्तेयम्
जातु कर्मण्यतन्द्रितः
जातु कर्मण्यतन्द्रितः
मम वर्त्मानुवर्तन्ते
मम वर्त्मानुवर्तन्ते
मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः
मनुष्या पार्थ सर्वशः
उत्सीदेयुरिमे लोकाः
उत्सिद्धेयोरिमे लोका
न कुर्यां कर्म चेदहम्
न कुर्यां कर्म चेदहम्
संकरस्य च कर्ता स्याम्
संकरस्य च कर्ता स्याम्
उपहन्यामि माः प्रजाः
उपहान्यम् इमाः प्रजाः
सक्ताः कर्मण्य विद्वांसो
सक्तः कर्मण्यविद्यांसो
यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत
यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत
कुर्याद्विद्वांस्तथा सक्तः
कुर्याद्विद्वांस तथा सक्तः
चिकीर्षुर्लोकसङ्ग्रहम्
चिकीर्षुर्लोकसंग्रहम्
न बुद्धिभेदं जनयेद्
न बुद्धिभेदं जनयेत्
अज्ञानं कर्मसङ्गिनाम्
अज्ञानं कर्मसङ्गिनाम्
जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि
जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि
विद्वान् युक्तः समाचरन्
विद्वान् युक्तः समाचरन्
प्रकृतेः क्रियमाणानि
प्रकृते क्रियमाणानि
गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः
गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः
अहङ्कारविमूढात्मा
अहं कराविमूढात्मा
कर्ताहम् इति मन्यते
कर्ताहम् इति मन्यते
तत्त्ववित्तुं महाबाहो
तत्त्ववित्तु महाबाहो
गुणकर्मविभागयोः
गुणकर्मविभागयो
गुणागुणेषु वर्तन्ते
गुणागुणेषु वर्तन्ते
इति मत्वा न सज्जते
इति मत्वा न सज्जते
प्रकृतेर्गुणसम्मूढाः
प्रकृतेर्गुणसम्मूढा
सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु
सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु
तान् कृत्स्नविदो मन्दान्
तान् कृत्स्नविदो मान्दान्
कृत्स्नविन्न विचालयेत्
कृत्स्नविन्न विचालयेत्
मयि सर्वाणि कर्माणि
मयि सर्वाणि कर्माणि
संन्यस्याध्यात्मचेतसा
संन्यस्याध्यात्मचेतसाम्
निराशीर्निर्ममो भूत्वा
निराशीर्निर्ममो भूत्वा
युध्यस्व विगतज्वरः
युध्यस्व विगतज्वरः
So this is in your shloka. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigatajvaraha. In me, all the actions kind of sanyasya, having renounced in me all the actions, having put onto me all the actions, Adhyatma chetasa, by the consciousness, by spiritual consciousness, seeking the realization of the higher self. Adhyatma chetasa. Nirashich, without any hope, hopeless literally. Nirmamo, without any possession. Bhutva, having become. Renouncing all possessions and all expectations. Yudhyasva, Vigatajvaraha, fight, being free from any favor, any disturbance, any uh,
Mm.
delivered from the favor of thy soul. Fervor, how to say favor? Fever, literally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Fever in the sense eagerness, or in the sense pain
Yeah,
or
jvara.
suffering.
Jvara means that burning flame, which is burning, eating you alive from within.
Mm. Okay.
Uh, so there's this idea being free from any expectation and egoism, free from desire and egoism. Nirashich. Asha is the hope, or
Yes.
expectation. And nirashich is the one who is free from any expectation or hope.
Mm.
Mm, not hoping for something to happen good for him, This is the egoistic actually movement. We hope that next year will be better than this year. That is that will never happen actually, because that is the egoistic movement, and ego is never happy, truly speaking. But once in a while, it happens something nice to us that ego may like us. Ye te matam idam nityam anutishtanti manavah shraddhavanto nasuyanto muchyante tepi karma bhih. But those who this thought of mine constantly anutishtanti, following all the human beings, manavah, shraddhavantah, full of faith, anasuyantah, without any complaint, muchyante tepi karmabhih, they are becoming freed by the actions. So actions can free them. Yetvetad abhyasuyanto nanutishtanti me matam. And those who do not follow my thought, complaining constantly, sarvajnana vimudhatma, being bewildered by all the knowledge of self-realization, tan vidhi nashtan achetasach, know them as lost souls, unconscious and lost.
Yeah. Mm. Okay. In one of the translations that I have two translations on here, French ones, um, and they say something like they wander lost in the darkness. Is there anything that says darkness here?
No,
No.
achetasach without chetas, yes. Nashtan, know them as lost, nashtan, and
Mm-hmm.
achetasach unconscious, vidhi know, tan them, sarvajnana vimudhan, yes. Those who are bewildered by their self-realization in all, so to say. Bewildered in all knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and fated to be destroyed. That's, I think, yeah, sometimes they put darkness because, yeah, because you can, nashta is lost and vimudha is bewildered, can be associated with darkness of some kind.
In the sense that there is no clarity, or
Right, vimudha is that being bewildered or being stupidified, becoming stupid, becoming kind of totally like knowing, not knowing what is truth and what is not anymore. Everything looks the same.
Mm.
That's what they are trying to do today in the world. All these forces, they try to mix up things that you would, even knowing that it is truth, you would doubt it. And that is vimudha, from root muh, to become mudha. There is another word in Hindi, murkha. Yeah? Murkha is
I,
stupid, an idiot, and
okay.
murha also. Yes, that's what it is. Yeah. Who are idiots who do
Mm.
not know what is what. All right, so these two shlokas plus, so we will stop here, I think, because it is, okay, 12 shlokas. Let us read
Mhm.
these two. Ye me matam midam nityam
Ye me matam idam nityam
anutishtanti manavaham
anuttishtanti manavaha
shraddhavanto nasuyanto
shraddhavanto nasuyanto
muchyante tepi karmabhih
muchyante te karmabhihi
ye tvedat abhyasuyanto
ye tvedattad abhyasuyanto
nanutishtanti me matam
nanutishtanti me matam
sarvajnana vimudhanstan
sarvajnana vimudham sthan
viddhi nashtan achetasaham.
Siddhi nashtana achetasaha.
Mhm. We have actually also the group, but it is too
Yes,
late for you, 6 o'clock in the evening on Mondays. It's a nice group, by the way. It's for US, mainly US. And
you
few
sent
people,
me an invitation, I think, no? But I don't know what it is exactly and how it works, what it is.
yeah, you can come to our website. You can see discussions on different topics. It will be interesting for you. And also you will meet people from Europe, psychologists. There is one person who is joining constantly from Spain, very interesting person. Many from US, some from
But
Philippines.
so how does it work? You go to the website and then what happens? There are discussions or
Right. First of all, we have our sessions, and then there are discussions following on certain topics, texts. There was the whole discussion on nonviolent communication and what it means and what nonviolence means and why Gita is dealing into this from the first. You will see different blogs, people are sharing their thoughts,
okay.
arguing with each other. It'd be interesting.
Okay. At the moment I don't have much time, but
No, it's
in
just for you
10
to,
days it will be a little better. So maybe I'll have a look then.
yeah, it's
You
not
know
an
what?
obligation. Yeah, it's not.
Last 2 weeks, I've done another teacher training. I was as a like it was very cheap online, so I decided to do it. It's the yoga trapeze because of I have my back is ruined, and I wanted to find some solutions, you know,
Mm,
and also to add to my yoga therapy classes and to
mm,
help people who have like me. I have two hernias, and so I was doing it so online and really didn't have time at all. I submitted just now my final exam. It was
good.
and
And what is with your back? You mean what do you mean ruined? It can't be ruined. You're a normal being. I mean that you have
mm,
pain in the back
this
somewhere.
yeah. So I have one hernia in the cervical spine that is much better. At some point, I couldn't feel my hand. I couldn't grab
Oh,
things, but it's gone really better. That was many years back. And I had an accident a few months back. My two knees got really badly injured,
oh,
and I think because of that, the and I was practicing. I had to, and my only way to earn money was to continue teaching online yoga because we were not allowed to do massage or therapy sessions one-to-one, So I had to continue teaching online, and so I made things worse, and that
Oh,
impacted my back, and now it's been extremely painful. Yeah,
oh,
and
crazy.
it gives me
I
no
have
insight
similar
of.
neck. I know what it means. Yes, when it comes back, it's really you can't do anything. You have to lie down, and lie down doesn't help him. Nothing helps.
Yeah.
Yes, it's way
And for
weird.
me now, I sometimes I can't even walk. I can't even. So it's.
Uh,
Uh, mm,
and what do you do for that? There are
well,
actually,
mm,
huh?
mm.
There are tablets
Well,
which I'm using. Once, once in a while, somebody gave me tablets, and when it is that very painful that you can't do anything, I used tablets and it helped. It helped because the pain is gone, and so the body can recover. In the moment when there is no pain, it can rebuild itself. But when there is
at least
pain,
one can
locking,
sleep. Yeah.
yeah,
But on the long run, the thing is, I have to keep practicing, and I have to. But it helps me to go in a much subtle way to understand in my practice, because I tried some things that I know that I apply in yoga therapy, but because it's both on the knees and on the back, I realized what I've done for the knees was not good for the back, something like that.
or,
It impacted the back. So it allows me to understand anatomy in a much subtler way, which is good. And now I've been doing this course of yoga therapies, which is really like a different approach, where you can do a lot of traction. You hang basically from with upside down. Yeah, like
mm,
you in Iyengar we do with the ropes, but it's much more complete with the trapeze. So I'm really exploring this in order to cure myself, and then also maybe
mm,
to be able to better help people who have back issues. So
mm.